prayers, healing, and so on. But the faith from the olive tree, whose original aim was to produce the timber that will later be used to prepare the cross upon which Jesus was to die. We said last week that human beings started shedding blood from the time of Cain and Abel. You need to read the first chapter of Blessed Ketunemeru's narration of how the human race multiplied and how they spread. Because of that first sin, Adam and Eve were living a penance of 7 years. And it is on these basis that many Catholic speakers will tell you that one act of fornication, just one act, takes about 7 years to atone for it. Not one relationship. If in a relationship the acts have occurred like 70 times, well, perhaps we do 70 times 7. The atonement cannot be completed in this life. It has to continue in purgatory. For 7 years, Adam and Eve remained continent, remained in prayer, doing penance for just one act of eating of the forbidden fruit. After the 7th year, Eve was allowed to give birth to Seth again. But the brothers who were now multiplying and having families, the temptation to murder and kill began to grow. Adam and Eve had to give her special protection that she may not be killed. By the time of Cain and Abel, God had already started asking for sacrifice. Worship is an act of sacrifice. It is not dancing. It is not drumming. That's not worship. At least that is not the true worship. It involves sacrifice, either extermination of life from a plant or an animal, and in many pagan traditions, even from a human being, as God almost required from Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. That is worship. And this is why the author of the book of Hebrews says that without shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness of sin. Amen. So Cain and Abel were asked to offer the first fruits of their harvest. One deliberately chose the worst set of fruits, and the other chose the best set of fruits. And both of them, they designed a kind of altar for burnt offerings, and then burnt. Through a very clear signal, God indicated which one was accepted and which one was rejected. The accepted one had smoke going up towards heaven. The rejected one, the smoke almost choked him. And instead of being sorry, he became jealous, became envious of the brother whose offering, whose sacrifice was accepted. And then clubbed him to death. A club, a big stick, and killed his brother. That was the first murder. That spilling of human blood contaminated the earth. It brought a curse upon the earth. And God had to ask Cain, where is your brother? And like most of us, he replied, am I my brother's keeper? Does his problem concern you? Am I my brother's keeper? Your brother's problem should concern you. If he doesn't have a child, it should concern you. Pray for him or her. If he doesn't have a job, it should concern you. Pray for him or her. If the person is chronically ill, it should concern you. But look at your prayer life, look at our prayer life. It's all about me. I, me, and myself. The rest are not your business. I am not my brother's keeper. This was the reply that Cain gave. And And God taught him a theology he didn't know before. He said, the blood of your brother cries to me from the ground. Blood is spirit. Later, God told Moses that the life of an animal is in the blood. He didn't say the flesh or the mouth of your brother cries to me from the ground. He says, the blood of your brother cries to me from the ground. Blood does not rest. There was a certain young girl who used to humble range somewhere around her back. And on one lonely day, ritualists saw her walking the range and surrounded and killed her for rituals. Since that day, that neighborhood has never rested. Every night, people will be hearing, come and buy orange. And fear will seize them. They knew it was the killing of that girl. The blood was crying out. During one of the demonstrations that occurred in Obi, one Hausa boy sells, many people like him, he sells around one of the junction. The boy, it was not even the problem, but because of the ethnic issues we normally have, they just had him to death. And many people were told, go and do reparation for the blood of that young man. It will disturb people. It will worry you. In the village where I come from, even in pagan tradition, if you kill, you will be required to undergo a certain title, a certain ritual, because the blood of that person will not allow you to rest. In the precious blood devotion, when a lady was talking about those called to build the temple, he said, rejoice because you are called. Your hands are not stained with blood. Your hands are not stained with blood. And that is blood of forgiveness, even abortion. Even abortion. The blood of your brother cries to you from the ground. And then he began to, God gave the punishment. That because of this, the earth will no longer produce food for you. Thorns and thistle shall it produce. Thorns and thistle. And this is why Jesus was carrying the thorns when he came. Because he also needed to carry our crosses. He carried the crown of thorns on his head. From that day forward, according to Blessed Ketume marriage, there was nothing that Cain did that ever prospered. His children and his great-grandchildren saw him as an object of mockery. He asked God, what then will I be eating if whatever I plant will not prosper? God showed him mercy. For the first time, mankind was allowed to eat flesh. Adam and Eve were vegetarians. God did not create human beings originally to be hard eaters, to kill and eat animals. And this is why you see that among the saints, their own level of closeness to God helped them to understand that He has also called to show kindness to animals. You see that St. Francis of Assisi had a special relationship with a wolf who was his friend. And those animals, on their own side, don't kill them. It is a teaching of Saint Seraphim of Sarov, one of the most prominent Russian saints, that one of the steps towards friendliness, even with wild animals, is to abstain from killing and eating them. That was how mankind was until before the killing of Abel by Cain. So human blood was spilled. So God now permitted, just like our first parents went their own way in discovering a different type of means of reproduction. And God said, okay, since you have chosen this way, well, you can continue, but under some conditions. Similarly, God now told Cain, you can now kill the fowls of the air and eat, but whatever you plant to produce for you will not. So that was how human beings began to eat the flesh of animals for the first time. We see that among the saints, many of them are simple eaters. Simple. Some fruits, some, Today, the modern man has a problem. Part of his sicknesses are caused by food. You need to see the arrangement of the tables, different things we set for ourselves. Jesus ate mainly bread and fish. When you read it from the life of the mystics, the unleavened bread and fish. That was the major staple food of the ancient Israelites. In our time, if it is not right, baked, done in a particular way, mixed with something else, and so on, then that food is not good. So Cain began to kill and eat. God at the same time kept giving them symbols of the passion of Christ to come, and also symbols of the Mass. We did say last week that one of the things that Noah was handed to Noah, and Noah passed it on to Abraham, was the chalice of Melchizedek. The chalice that Melchizedek used in celebrating what looks like Mass for Abraham. The two stools is not very like this chalice we have today. Used it, celebrated, it looked like Mass. Many a times you hear our priest sing either on the day the priest is being ordained or on an anniversary, the priest like Melchizedek of old. Melchizedek himself was not a human being, was an angel. But all the scripture tells us is that nobody knew his genealogy. Nobody knew who his parents were. But Jesus explained to Blessed Virgin Mary that he was actually an angel who lived among men in order to help and guide the chosen race, that they may prove their purity and their knowledge of God, because salvation for the whole human race was to come from the Jews. And this is what Jesus told the woman at the well, the Samaritan woman. Give me water to drink. The woman said, you a Jew asking me for water. The Jews and the Samaritans have no connection. And Jesus, he said, your fathers, you people worship in Jerusalem. Our father worshipped on this mountain. And our Lord replied, you worship what you do not know. God is spirit. Those who worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. And that salvation comes from the Jews. He repeated that, John chapter 5. Salvation comes from the Jews. And this was why Melchizedek was sent to help preserve and to guide. And they were given elements pointing to the Holy Mass, pointing to Christ's passion, mysteries they needed to be celebrated, some of which we can see in Exodus 12, chapter 12, where Moses was told how the animal, the lamb, was to be slaughtered. And then you gather the blood, collect the blood, and then enter a covenant between God and the nation of Israel. reads the 10 commandments for them,